Hey you guys, good morning. All I'm hearing this morning on this Monday is Memorial Day weekend. Monday of Memorial Day weekend is sirens this morning. That's all I've been hearing nonstop. Look at my flowers. They're looking sad. They got wet. But yes, pray for Stockton. You can't hear it right now. And then you pull some weeds. Anyways, what you call? Heck, a siren this morning a lot. So a lot of them just went by. Anyways, this is my giant tree. Woo! And oh my goodness, that's all that I've been hearing nonstop. Freaking sirens and sirens. Even from last night, heck is sirens. And so I don't know what's up with that. So just pray for City of Stockton, and because like there's my kitty Zelda. I named her that. My youngest son named her. She's a Siamese cat, but she's a wild kitty. She's a mama of a lot of pretty kitties that I have. I'm Zelda. Yeah, she even has kittens now, and she's like older kitty now, but she's still having them. She's going up the walkway right now. These are my Chinese neighbors right here. See my Chinese neighbors. They're straight up from China. Pray for me to reach them for God, because they're Buddhist, of course. And yesterday I was watching about that. And when I was in my 20s, I was really liberal. I was very, very liberal. Then she finished the walkway. It's like a brick walkway that goes all the way down. like to drive in if they wanted to drive in there. But anyways, and then she's tapping. My youngest son's really into video games, so he named her Zelda. I think I just said that, but I just wanted to, like, I don't know if you guys didn't hear. Sometimes I talk really fast. But anyways, in my 20s, I was really liberal and very hippie-ish, you could say, of the 90s, not the 60s, but 30 years later, I had a very hippie, liberal, hippie-dippy mentality. And what you call, so I used to be like thinking like Asian things were all like Hikazin and, you know, fusion of like Confucius and sayings like that. And the flowers are barely coming out, barely budding. I would walk over there with my slippers on right now. And I think there's dew on the grass still. So some birds. Birds. Anyways, but I was watching something on the NHK, if you ever watch that channel. It's pretty interesting. Everything Asian, very interesting. They have a lot of good cooking actually on there. And which I hope to be a vegan someday. That's like beyond vegetarian. Vegan is you eat nothing with a base. And seeing that I'm a carnivore is gonna be a huge change for me. But with God, all things are possible. These are so pretty still, even though the water has hit them and they become weird. No. They're like weird color right now. I mean, they're like weird, like kind of scrunched up. But they kind of look like their name more, because it's a China rose. That's what these flowers are called. And I told you guys before, you've seen these a lot in Hawaii, but they're actually from China. And they're beautiful. So somebody from China took them to Hawaii and put them everywhere. I'm not sure who, but I'm thankful. Whoever that Chinese person was. I love Chinese food too. That's my favorite food. And I do love my neighbors a lot. And they speak no English. And so that's why I was trying to learn Mandarin. Because I'd be saying ni hao and I'd be saying ni hao ma. But yeah, they're the ones right here in this 2-story right here. That's how it goes in my neighborhood. It's like 2-story, and then my house is 1-story, and then my next neighbors, they're 2-story, and they're Pakistan and Muslim. And so I believe that I can reach a Muslim too through God. Pray for me to have wisdom though. It's a process, you know. It's a trip because I have met my Pakistan neighbor, AK. I actually met him at Superior Thrift, in front of Superior Thrift one evening, like dusk, I guess, around dusk. The time of day was dusk, and that's when I was working from 4 to 11. 4 to 11. So 4 in the afternoon to 11 at night. And he was waiting for probably his, at that time, because when I first lived here, you know, the generations, they all lived together with, in my neighborhood, like the Chinese generations, like the Asian, they have the grandparents, they have the parents, and then they have the children, grandchildren to the grandparents, right? And they both honor their elderly. It's a trip how other how you say societies and people, they really honor their elderly, and we're so the opposite in America. We're so the opposite, and I didn't understand that concept either. Like, I'm not gonna say like I'm all knowing and zen and all that. I'm not, because I didn't understand that either. But I did love the one elderly person that was in my life, which was my next door neighbor that I grew up with, and her name was Tula Bridges. And anybody that goes to Christian Life Center would know her as Grandma Bridges. I think I got another gardenia, you guys. I got 2 gardenias, like, ooh, so pretty. And then I was talking to you guys the other day about this gardenia, and this one was way in the back, and like literally, I walked by here and it smelled so good. And so I was coming back from the mailbox, and I was saying that even if you're shining for God and you have that fragrance of living for God every day and just, you know, living His life, and you're a testimony to people. I always listen to preaching all the time. This you guys are hearing. You're hearing Ron Woodward, I believe that's his name. Yeah, I like listening to stuff because you learn a lot of stuff about holiness and different things. So anyways, it was like dusk, and I was working from 4 to 11, and at Superior Thrift, and he was, oh yeah, I was talking about elderly people, yeah. With Tula Bridges, you know that she was a dancer for Jesus. She would dance in a circle, and everybody known her as Grandma Bridges. She was my neighbor forever, and she used to babysit me and my brother when my mom did bus route. That's why I like Sunday school bus ministry. So mom did that. I thought I heard an airplane, but it looks really smoggy today for some reason. So anyway, she was the only elderly person I've been around. I super respect her because she was so kind to us. She used to give us hot dogs, and sometimes she would have vanilla ice cream. And she was always kind to me. Oh, and iced tea. She always giving you iced tea, and she giving you that caffeine boost. Plus, oh, she made it perfect with sugar. It was so sweet and good, sweet tea. And so that's the only elderly person I actually grew up with. Not even my own grandmother. I see my own grandmother maybe once a year. And my other grandmother died through domestic violence. Actually, she was looking for my little Sicilian grandpa. I heard that she was Cuban, and she was looking for my little Sicilian grandpa at a bar when my dad was 6 months. And the story is that they had gotten into a confrontation, and that my grandpa pushed her out of the cab and then she died. But he never got arrested for murder or anything like that. So that's her side of the family saying that. And I'm not going to debate because I wasn't there. Honestly, it's super sad that my dad grew up without his real parents. So what happened was my grandpa Jimmy Carroll, he ran away to Colorado, another state. And you know what I think might have happened? I don't even know, but I don't know how the cars in the 50s were. Maybe 40s, 50s. No, my dad was born in the late 40s. I don't even know how those cars were, but I think they would have been fighting, and maybe he maybe could have pushed her away from him, or something happened, and then somehow like maybe her elbow hit the handle or something hit it, and maybe the car door opened and she fell out. You know, it's like, because he's the only one I knew, and I never talked to him about this. I never, of course, you know, it's like, I'm not gonna bring it up because this is an old man now. But and he's passed in the mid-90s, and I did get to meet him once, thank God. And so that's how it goes. Sometimes accidents happen. And my husband, we got into so many confrontations, and I'm just thankful that nothing bad like that has ever happened, to the grace of God. He got a lot of prayers at his grandmother. And but yeah, I mean, that was the start of my dad's life. He got adopted by his aunt, my grandma's sister, and he was raised by his aunt and his uncle that did not want kids, so he was kind of abusive towards my dad. He was a German man, and then he was married to my aunt, so he was related to my dad by marriage. And I think there was like 5 kids, and he sure enough didn't want 5 kids, and my dad was a baby. So my aunt, his aunt, my great aunt, my grandmother's sister, favored him a lot and showed him special attention. Very special attention, as a matter of fact. Yeah, he was actually molested by her. And if you think that men can't be molested, believe me, there's twisted women out there as much as there is men. So molesters molest, you know. But you have a choice to break that chain if you've been molested. You don't have to molest. You don't really. So God gives you that choice to break that chain. And if you've been hit, abused physically, you don't have to be hitting people either. So you can say, that sucked. I didn't like to be hit, so I'm not going to try to hit. I don't understand how. And I'm not trying to be like all like judgmental, but I don't understand if you've been hit, how you hitting your own kids like that, you know, when you already know how it feels, and not only how the physical feels, but how it breaks their spirits. So I'm saying, I'm not for hitting. Definitely don't hit your kids in anger. I'm sure that there's a way to discipline your kids without being angry, you know. And maybe time out. Try everything else before you hit them. If you are to believe in physical discipline or whatever, what they call it, corporal punishment. Try to do everything else, because kids are smart. Even animals understand. So kids are much more than an animal. So you can't talk to them, but if they're really strong-willed, I guess I don't have strong-willed kids, because I've always tried to treat them like little human beings and give them choices, and that's my dog back there. my he wanted to escape. Give them choices and speak to them. If you don't behave, I'm about to take this away from you. and or you know what I mean. I ever put my kids really in timeout. I don't even know, but I would just say, okay, you're grounded from your game or whatever. I would have just take stuff or a reward system. I would do the rewarding too instead. If you do this, then I'll do this. You know, you be good and then you'll get this. You know, and you can communicate with them and them not be um pushing you to the point where you have to physically spank them if possible. But if you do, don't overdo it. And I think that you should hug them and talk to them and you know what I mean. Tell them why. Um, but just don't make it a whole thing of just crushing their spirits. That's all. I don't even know I got off on that tangent. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, breaking the generational chains. You know what I mean? Of I don't know. People say generational curse. People have choices. You know, you ain't gotta be cursing yourself. You know, if you're abused, don't abuse. You know, it sucks to be abused. Don't abuse. You know, say I don't want to be that person. Do you want to be your parent, or do you want to be whoever raised you or whoever abused you? When you look back on that person, is it a pleasant memory? No. So, do you want somebody to look back on you like that and say, you know, because what the kid will remember, and you know, I'm sure my parents did a lot of good things for me. I'm sure that they tried their best of their way, and I'm thankful for all their efforts, and I'm thankful for them and trying and stuff because I know they did. And I'm thankful I even had parents. You know what I mean? And I know it could have been so much worse. But the thing of it is that what kids mostly remember is the bad parts, and I'm sure they did a lot of good. But the thing that is the unfortunate thing about trauma is that kids remember the bad parts of the childhood. So it's more important. It's the most important is to minimize that and don't make trauma situations like yelling. Like my dad was a yeller, my mom was a hitter, and I love both my parents. And I'm not trying to dishonor them, but I'm trying to make a point. Like, um, there you don't have to raise your voice. You definitely, you know what I mean, you could talk to your kids at a normal level. You could talk to them, have a normal conversation with them, and still get the same point across somehow. And you also don't have to use profanity for one thing, because you don't want to teach them to be ignorant, because they're gonna be with they're gonna be teach you're gonna be teaching them how to cuss or how to use profanity. It's not good either if you use profanity. Um, when I was a teen and I was on to rap music, I used to be a heck a cusser, really bad cusser, and I'm so glad that God delivered me from that. But I never really cuss around my kids. Like I try never to give them that example of you know, you could use your words. There's so many words in the English language besides cuss words. Is so important. I mean, like you guys do, but anyways, I don't even know how I got off on that. Oh, my dad and elderly people. Okay, I love my grandpa DiMercurio, and whatever his story was. I know that he was an alcoholic. I know he had a lot of anger. I don't know about his history. I don't know about my great grandparents, but I know that he was kind to me. And a lot of times people are kind in their old age and they're way different when they're younger. But but I did love my grandpa Jimmy Carroll. Yeah, I definitely love my dad so much. I know he tried so hard in the midst of his brokenness. Believe me, it was a miracle. He was in a lot of ways did break a lot of chains because he was not violent, even though he did yell, and even though a lot of violence was shown to him, he was not violent. Even though he did throw stuff and he could be scary, you know. But like as far as I know that he tried to be more the opposite of what he was raised. I know that he tried to be more of the opposite than he was raised. So I'm thankful. He did break the chain in a lot of ways. You know, even though he was an alcoholic, later on he quit drinking through God, and he did. I know he made it to heaven, and with God, and he always trying to do better. He did always try to do better, and in the end he made a lot of changes, and I'm proud of him for that. I am very proud of him for that. And so my mom, the person that never got hit, she said she never got hit, was the most violent of all. And how does that happen? But only God knows. I think she had a lot of anger from where, I don't know. I asked her before if she was molested. She says no. But this person lies a lot too, so I think something happened to her somewhere along the line that put a lot of anger in her. She grew up very impoverished. I don't know if she was mad about being in lack all the time or going through stuff over being poor. So I don't know where her anger came from, but she has a lot of anger. And yeah, it's better just let go of that. And that's what I'm working through every day, you know. Even now, she causes a lot of pain in my life. And I'm still working through that, you know. And I forgive her, you know, daily. And I just say, you know what, God, she's in your hands. Help her this day. Help her to think good thoughts. Help her, you know, not to be evil. Help her to be good, and help her to do good things. But only she can make those choices for herself, and I can't make them for her. Only we can make our own choices. And you could be young and wise and make the right choices, and you can be old and ignorant and make the wrong choices. You know, wisdom doesn't have an age. A lot of people think old people are wise just because they got old, but it's just simply they got old. And yeah, some old people are wise and they do use their years for wisdom, but not all of them. And there's young people that they've been through so much in their life, they're very wise even at a young age. That's why I listen to even millennials. Millennials are so kind to me and so sweet. My kids' age, you know, 20-year-olds and younger, and even, you know, 20 teens, 20s, 30s, and they have so much knowledge because they grew up with the world web at their fingertips, and they're so smart. So I've learned a lot from millennials. So, but anyways, my battery's about to die. But anyways, pray for my neighbors. On my right side is my Chinese neighbors from China, and then wait, if I'm facing this way, it's on my right side is my Pakistani neighbors from Pakistan, and then on my left side is my Chinese neighbors from China. So pray for me to be able to reach them. And thankfully my Pakistan neighbors do speak English, and I've had a lot of interaction with them. Like I said, I believe that there is something that is God ordained there, because the reason why is, like I said, I met AK, which is the he's like the grandpa. There's a name for it. Oh my word. Oh, patriarch of the house. My dad used to use that. He's like, my dad was smart. He went to Bible college, and but he's the you know, there's like the matriarch and the patriarch. He's a patriarch. I think that, I hope I'm saying that right, of the house, because he's the oldest male there. And there's his son, and then there's his grandsons. He has 2 grandsons and 2 granddaughters. And his son and his wife live there. And so there is, in total in that house, is AK and his wife, Yasmin, and then his son Ricky, and then his wife Shabana, and then they have 2 boys and 2 girls. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So 8 souls in that house. So and there's 2 souls with the Chinese. Their daughter and grandchildren moved out a couple years ago, but there was like 3 generations over there too when I first moved here. So yeah, most of them are like that where I live right now. I live off March Lane, off Homeland. And that's why I can hear all the sirens. That's why I came out in the beginning, because I keep hearing sirens like since I got up, you know. And I've been up like right before 5 o'clock, before 5 a.m. So what I'm saying is, look at a heart, kind of when you go like that, there's a heart. But anyways, I've been up like before 5 And I've been hearing sirens like steadily. So pray for the city of Stockton. Jesus loves Stockton. And Jesus loves you. Have a blessed day.